I got my first Game Boy, my first original Game Boy. This is it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk to you about this. I've been hiding this from any video that I could talk about it for months now because I just didn't have time to work on it. But work on it is a bold word. I got my first Game Boy, my first original Game Boy in the year 2025. Let's talk about it. If you don't know me, hi, my name's Hannah. I go by Han Solo on YouTube. I don't know if we're gonna keep that, but I wanted to come on here and talk about my newest acquisition in my handheld console collection. I'm a big gamer. I'm a big advocate of physical media. It's something that I hold very dear to my heart, and I am so excited to talk about my first ever Game Boy. I know, my first ever Game Boy is crazy to say, also because my first handheld consoles were the Nintendo DS Lite. I never had a Game Boy growing up. I didn't even play actual Game Boy games because the Nintendo DS Lite had the little slot for the Game Boy Advance cartridges, but I never played the actual games. I got a lot of those movies that you'd slot in. It would be a movie, but in the cartridge. So a lot of movies and shows I actually watched on Game Boy cartridges, but I never played any Game Boy games. I'm like trying to recall. I don't think I played any. So truly, I am so new and I'm a baby to the Game Boy world, and I feel such immense privilege to be able to be like, I have a Game Boy. I have the original Game Boy. Where do I even begin? I got it from my dad. My dad, I think I've mentioned it before, maybe once or twice, but if you're new here, my dad really loves yard sailing. He loves yard sailing. He does all of that stuff. He loves finding books and whatnot. And he was lucky enough to find this Game Boy, original Game Boy. I don't even think the guy wanted any money for it. So a free Game Boy with the complete like backing of the battery pack. It comes with the adapter. My dad got it for free, and I said, may I have that please? And he said, sure, take me out to lunch. So I exchanged lunch for an original Game Boy. I'm very lucky. I feel very, very privileged to be able to have this for free, basically. My dad to have gotten it for free, and for me to have it in my collection now, because I'm trying to grow my collection. I'm trying to experience new things, play new games, and just really experience nostalgia and all of those games that I never got to experience for the first time. And it's crazy. This literally, I think, came out before I was even born. I'm pretty sure. Didn't these come out? Yeah, 1989. I wasn't born yet. I was born in 99. So the fact that this is older than me and I will be able to play some games on it is insane. It's crazy to think about. It works. I turned it on. There it goes. There it is. It works. I made sure it turned on today, actually. I've had this for a couple months now. So when I said that I got this in 2025, I got this, I think, last year. I just hadn't done anything with it. It was just kind of sitting around. So I've been meaning to make a video about it, but I wanted to, one, make sure it works first, and two, kind of clean it up a little bit because it was really gross. It was really, really gross when I got it, and I needed to clean it before I showed it on a video because I didn't want you to see this grimy console and I'm like, oh, look how cool this is. No, I had to clean it first. I'll insert pictures here, what it looked like. I don't think the pictures do it justice, and I still definitely didn't get all of the like little grime and stuff that's in between all the little pieces, because let me just tell you, it is so difficult cleaning this thing. There are so many little ridges, and why is that so difficult to clean? If anybody has recommendations on how to get like in between the little, it's the edges and the crevices that are just so hard. I was going in with Q-tips and rubbing alcohol and just going at it. I tried my best. I think I got a decent amount of the grime. There was a lot of buildup where the batteries go around the edges of that. So I made sure that was all clean before I added new batteries. And then I also tested it with the adapter. It works with the adapter. At first it didn't work with the batteries, so I'm pretty sure it just needed to be cleaned before I added the batteries, but it was really gross. And one, I didn't want to show off a console, a retro console that I think holds a lot of history in such a dingy state. Like, that would just not do it justice at all. I'm like, I feel so honored. It sounds so silly. I feel so honored to have such a piece of historical gaming tech in my hands, and then to show it off in a dirty state is kind of disrespectful to it, in my opinion. Like, it deserves to be cleaned. And then second of all, it was gross. I don't know whose hands touched it before mine. I don't know if it was a kid, I don't want to know. I genuinely don't want to know whose grimy fingers were touching this. So I needed to clean it before I got to game on it, of course. And it took me a while, but I'm really happy with it. I've never done such a deep clean on any console before, so that was also such a experience and a process of me having to look it up and doing a little bit of research on actually what I can clean and making sure that I'm doing it without damaging it. So that was an experience. And then getting to research about games and about the history of the console has just been really exciting for me, and I'm so excited to get to share this experience with all of you and do multiple videos on the original Game Boy, because I'd like this to be like our little project. Even though we're not doing anything to it, like I already cleaned it, we're gonna be experiencing the console together, experiencing the games together, experiencing maybe switching out batteries on some of those Game Boy games that have a save battery that are starting to go bad. So I think that would be fun to like learn these things, to experience this console. And then I hope to work my way up through the different generations of Game Boy and experience them all. So start at the beginning. I feel that like this is such a good point to start at, because this is the beginning of Game Boy. I'm gonna start with those big chunky cartridges and just work my way up. I've never had a Game Boy Color. I never had the Advance. I never had the SP. So starting here, I'm gonna be so humbled, I think, because I've never played a game in this fashion before. It's going to be a unique experience. It's gonna be a first time for me. I've already started looking at games that I'd like to get, and I'm really excited because a lot of the games, obviously, since it was the first handheld console, are very short. They are probably games that you can beat within an hour, sometimes a little bit more, but the ones that I looked at are definitely very short. So I'm excited to give those a try and maybe play those and play them with you, or do little recaps on the games and do a whole thing. I don't know. I have plans, I have ideas, but I really wanted to show this off because I'm just so thankful, and I'm so happy to have it, and to be growing my handheld console collection is it's so cool. I freaking love it. Yeah, I'm really excited to get some more Game Boys and to pick out some games in the future. What else did I want to say? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, it comes with the adapter. The adapter has definitely seen better days, I'll tell you that. I didn't clean it. I didn't clean this. I did clean the Game Boy, obviously, but I didn't clean the adapter. The Game Boy logo has been slightly rubbed off, but it comes complete. I was shocked that it turned on, to be honest with you. I think the screen might have a little bit of damage. I don't know. I don't know what a pristine one would look like. Obviously, this console is 30 plus years old, so there's going to be wear and tear and there's going to be deterioration. I think in an ideal world, I wouldn't mind bringing this to somebody who knows a little bit more than me and seeing if they can kind of get more of the grime out of the crevices, the places that I couldn't get to, open it up and see how the inside looks, because I mean, I could try, I can do that, but I'm also worried that I'm gonna mess it up. So I would love to see if somebody knows more than me and maybe even have them show me, learn about it, and have someone maybe mess with it a little bit. The screen definitely, I don't know if they're supposed to look so weird. There's like lines on it. I'll turn it on and I'll show you, because you can turn up the contrast. When you turn the contrast down, you can see these lines a lot clearer. And then another thing with this is that there's usually a Nintendo logo, but in this case, it's just a rectangle. And I looked it up and other people have had this issue, but the game still works. So I don't know why the logo isn't popping up and why it's just a rectangle. I'm not sure. Oh, another thing that I was going to say is that the D-pad, it kind of slides. It kind of slides around. Obviously, all the buttons still feel really good. None of them feel too hard to push down or feel too loose, except for the D-pad. You can kind of like push it. I don't know if that's normal and if that's something that just happens with wear and tear or if it needs to be replaced, but I feel like that's probably the only thing that I would consider wrong with it, other than it being dirty and the screen being a little, I don't know, not crystal clear. Obviously it's not brand new, it doesn't have an impeccable screen, it's just a little loose. I'm not used to it. I don't know if that is normal for this console or not. Everything else works. I'm pretty sure the volume's fully functioning. I haven't tried it with a headphone. I don't even know if I have a headphone that has a audio jack that could go in here, because new iPhones don't have audio jacks. They don't even have the lightning cables anymore, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do there to test it, but other than that, I think it's in pretty good condition. I'm really happy. I'm really happy to have this in my collection, and to get to show it off, I'm like, I'm just gonna show you guys this console. I don't have any games to put in it yet. I went to the game store, I've been looking at games, but one, I want my first game to be a game that I would see myself playing. I don't want to just buy a game that I don't care about or that I won't actually play just to test it. And then I also don't want a game that will have a bad battery, because some of the Game Boy games have batteries and some of them don't. So I've been looking at different Game Boy games to get on eBay, so expect a little game haul soon. If you have any game suggestions, please don't tell me though. Like, I know a lot of these are expensive, like the Pokemon games. Like, I would love to play one of the OG Pokemon games on this, but they're expensive and they need a battery, and I don't know how to change the battery, so I'd have to find one with a new battery most likely, and that's a whole thing. So we're either gonna learn how to solder a little bit and switch out the batteries, or we're gonna pay a little bit extra just to play Pokemon, but I think it's a little worth it. I think playing Pokemon on the OG would I could just picture myself. I think it would be so fun. I don't know. Original Game Boy. So cool. So freaking sick. I think that's it. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to stick around to see my Game Boy experience, we can perhaps learn about the Game Boy together, play on the Game Boy together, experience new Game Boys together. I would love to know what you think of the Game Boy. Did you play on it when you were growing up? Are you older than I am and you actually were alive and conscious when this came out? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. I can't stop looking at it. I'm just so happy, and I'm so glad to get to share this with you. I've been hiding it. I've been keeping it a secret, but the secret's out. The cat's out of the bag. You know now. You're in the secret club. What game should I get? Let me know. Feel free to leave a like if you'd like to see more Game Boy videos, and then subscribe so that you don't miss out. And I'll see you in the next video. So thank you for watching.